Yo, Descendants, Augiesaint here and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I want to share with you the updated Serena build. We made one yesterday and I promised you guys I would make a Divine Surge build, but we didn't get the mod yesterday. We got it today, we did some testing, and this is what we have ended up with. So if you want to screenshot and dip, there you go. There is the build. Boobs are us. This is the Boober Smash Divine Surge build. That's all the mods you need. The set we use is the Hunter set. And for the Reactor, we're going skill cooldown singular boost, and that is the Arche board we went with. If you want to know why we chose all this, then you should stick around for the video. So with that out the way, let's just hop straight into the modules and we'll start breaking everything down. So first of all, we are running this as the Divine Surge build, so you will need this Transcendent module. That just turns your 4 into like this big dive bomb. So you can fly up and you can dive bomb, and you can dive bomb, you can fly and you can dive bomb. And look at the cooldown on the dive bomb. Pretty short cooldown, so you can pretty much just dive bomb all the time. You want to reposition with your 3 ability, dive bomb, and you get the picture. It's a lot of dive bombing. It does a ton of damage. It can clear pretty much every single content besides like void erosion. It's obviously going to struggle there, but everything else the game has to offer, it will just absolutely obliterate. So let's get back to the mods. We're running HP there just for a little bit of defense, and then we do have fire amp and single amp. These are just boosting our damages even more, since we aren't really building around crit. However, you could possibly build her for crit, but she does have 10% base crit. So it's not like the 5%, but it's definitely not like the 15 to 20% of some other Descendants. So if you wanted to, you could try and build her for crit. However, we just chose raw damage. So we're going fire amp, single amp, straight up damage, and we're going focus on fire, focus on singular, mainly just for the cooldown. As you can see that they do have a ton of cooldown, and then obviously for the power boost as well, because if we actually have a look at Divine Surge, this thing is doing 1,300% skill power, and then for the landing strike it's actually doing 6.3k skill power modifier. So that is insane, and that's actually comparable to Haley's big shot, you know, Haley's cannon snipe. So look at Haley's cannon sniper. This thing is doing 8,900, so that's like 9,000. That's a lot of skill power, but this is on a long ass cooldown. When you compare that to Serena, and we're doing almost 8,000 combined skill power between the 2 collisions and the landing, and it's on like a 2.5 second cooldown, so in like 8 to 9, so say about 10 seconds you've pressed this button 3 times. So yeah, that is a ton of damage. So that's just murder everything. And the range is pretty decent as well. If you check at the bottom there, the range is 150% increase, so we've gotten up to 18.6 meters. And we have a look at our range, we're at 114, so we can get it up a little bit. I have tested with some other mods and stuff. You can get the range to increase slightly, but you lose too much quality of life if you change other stuff up for that little like 30% range to matter. Plus we do also get some more range in the Arche Tuning, which we'll talk about in a second. And I think that doesn't actually show up on this screen, because if you go to your stats on Serena herself, and you check over here at skill effect range, it's actually saying 1.6. So that is technically capped. That's over capped actually, because if it was true to the 150% in the, you know, the character screen before, then 1.5 would be the cap. So we're technically over capped. I believe that's because the mod over here is not actually counting for the range that we're getting from the Arche Tuning. So back to the mods, that's why we try and get as much damage as we can with the focus on singular, focus on fire, fire amp, and single amp. So all the damage we can get from those mods alone. And then the next thing we're going to focus on is cooldown. So MP conversion, nimble fingers, to get this down to that 2.5 seconds, obviously going along with the focus mods also giving us cooldown. And then we have frugal mindset just for more skill cost reduction, as well as a little bit of range. We have skill expansion to cap out the range between these 2 mods over there. And we do have strong mentality, just increasing the skill cost reduction even further, just so you can stay in the air all the time. Because when you are playing Serena, you want to have Ascension on the whole time, flying around and then dropping bombs or dropping your boobs on everybody, as we like to call it. Boobs are us. You're going to ground pound the floor with your tits and it's going to explode and everything's going to die. It's going to be beautiful. So those are the mods we're using to go ahead and ground pound everything. And then for the component set, we are using the Hunter set just to round out that cooldown, because without the Hunter set, we don't actually max out cooldown. And as you can see over here, cooldown does have a cap. We are able to hit it. You can see it is at the minimum, so that's as low as we can get the cooldown to go. That's like 90% cooldown basically. If we lose the Hunter 2 set, we'll come down a little bit. We can pick it up with Inversion. But instead of picking up with Inversion, we decided to go with Hunter set, because not only does it give us the cooldown, so it caps us out on that, but it also gives us MP recovery. And also when you are in combat, you'll see this little white halo around you. And if an enemy hits you during that, that will proc your 4 set. That's going to actually give you like 30% of your MP back. So it's really nice. You see a little white halo around you. Don't instantly kill the enemies if you do need MP back, and then they'll hit you and your MP will be back and you'll be good to go again. So if you need MP, just wait a second, let the enemies hit you, and you carry on with your day. But most of the time, I'm just zooming around, flying, and like killing all the enemies. So I don't really need to get anything anyway. The rolls you want to get on this is HP on the top roll with MP recovery. On the Sense, you want MP recovery in combat and max MP. And then the bottom two don't really matter. However, you can get MP recovery over there, as well as a little bit of max shield over there. These two rolls, there's not really much else you can get. I think you can get defense on the memory over there, so you could go for MP recovery and defense instead of the electric res. But down below, shield is just about the best thing you can get. And then for our reactor, we're going with skill cooldown, like I said, to min-max and fully max out that cooldown. And then the singular skill power boost there is just to do a little bit more damage, because I mean, free damage is more damage anyway. A lot of people will probably suggest to run skill cost on the reactor, which if you have one with cooldown, go for it. I don't like skill cost all that much, just because it feels like it's such a small little boost from the reactor. From a little amount of testing I've done, it just really doesn't feel to affect me that much. Plus, we never run out of MP with this. Even without MP collector, we never run out of MP thanks to the hunter set. I'm just playing a little bit smart and, you know, seeing where there's like blue orbs and stuff. If you need ammo, fly down and pick it up. So that's why more damage for me. The more damage, the merrier. That's how I like it. And then just make sure you are matching the weapon. Obviously, we're not going to be using any of the weapons. Just make sure they are matching so that you do get the boost over there. And obviously level it up as high as you can. I had mine at 3 for quite a while testing, because getting it to 3 is pretty cheap. And we were still just absolutely destroying all the content with it at 3. So if you don't have the materials, don't worry about fully maxing it out right away. Get it to 3, and then you can upgrade it later on, because you don't really need all that extra power for all the content you're going to be playing with anyway. And if we have a look at our inversion reinforcements, we are running neural focus. This is just to give you a little bit of maximum MP increase while you kill a lot of mobs, which you will be doing all the time. Running selective neurostimulation just to proc and give you a nice little boost of MP as well. And then lastly, we are running adrenaline rush. This does have a long cooldown. It is up for 10 seconds though, so every now and then we'll get a nice little speed boost. And I think it does affect you while you're flying, but nonetheless, there's nothing really else better to choose. I'm only just grabbing these two over there for increased MP. The airborne stuff over there for multi-hit. You're never going to be shooting your gun anyway, so that multi-hit doesn't really do much for you. So the last point, really just do whatever you want with it. And with the Arche Tuning board, we mainly came up over here for skill cooldown, as well as this massive skill power node. And then on the way to those, we just picked up as much max MP as possible, and like skill power and everything. And then we went down below instead to grab the range, because the Colossus is not going to do anything for us, since we're not going to be using this in a Colossus fight. Then we went up here a little bit, grabbed some more skill power, max MP, and that's it. The Paragon tree is actually pretty simple, because we don't really have many points for now. Maybe in the future they'll increase how many points we get, and then we can actually like connect this to another board. That would be pretty interesting. But for now, I think that is just about everything. And then next up on the channel, we will be covering the Malevolent. We have actually finished out the build, so if you've made it this far into the video, I'll give you a little sneak peek. There you go. The video is going to be coming up right after this one, so stay tuned to the channel. You should totally subscribe. It helps me out so much. And with this thing, we're actually able to kill the last boss with Serena in about 10 to 15 seconds. So it's very powerful, and it's actually really strong for mobbing too. So stay tuned to the channel for that. And thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully it helped you out with your Serena. And I'll catch you beautiful people in the next one. Augiesaint now.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying.